What's up, everyone? What's up, Tommy? How you doing, buddy? Still battling this cold, so you guys gotta forgive me a little bit this week. A lot better than last week, though. How's everybody's week? Hopefully it was good. Let's see here. We got, man, you guys are slow coming in today. What the hell? Went up and, what's up, brother? How you doing, Everett? That's all. Phil tell you, saw him up at Autorama. If you guys never been to Detroit Autorama, you need to go. Used to go pretty frequently, but haven't been in probably 10 years or so. And man, we had a blast. I was so tired. Thought I was going to do yeah, I know, Everett. Thought I was going to do both days, but it's exhausting. It's a lot of, I end up with, I think it was like 17,000 steps that day or something. I definitely put the steps in. Where's my thing at? Yeah, 16,508 steps on Saturday was what I did. I was wandering around. But it's a great time, man. A lot of great cars. Telling you, let me see here. Pull the winner up real quick and to get the take a picture of some of these bad boys. So I'll get the photo album up sometime this week. End up taking like 2,600 pictures. So it's going to take a little while to get them all edited and up, but there's a lot of gorgeous vehicles up there for sure. But you're there's what ended up being the Riddler winner. It's a gorgeous car, 50 Merc. This is one of those these guys are just like no prep and drag racers. This guy probably spent $1 million on this car and he won a trophy. And I think $1,500, $2,500. But he's got bragging rights. I know you don't do it just like us. Don't do it for the money. But man, that's a gorgeous car. So we got, man, what the hell is this thing so slow for today? I don't see anybody from Facebook on here. Has Facebook fucked us again? I think Facebook's fucked us again. I'm starting to see some people from Facebook. I don't know what's going on, man. We got to find a better platform. Where was you at, man? I figured you'd be up there hanging out. You wonder if Dynacom will handle forward power. Oh boy. Don't get me started. What's up, James? How you doing, buddy? All right. Thanks, Dennis. Ernie. Appreciate it. Facebook been giving us fits here these last few weeks. I don't understand it. But so anyhow, yep, had a great week, had a great weekend hanging out with Mike up there at Detroit Hood TV, and got to see the Munsons, and who else to see? Phil and his wife. Muff Diver wouldn't even give me an autograph. That dude's a little bit stuck up. Thanks, Brian. Appreciate it. Yeah, that Muff Diver dude, he's a little bit stuck up, but everybody else is pretty cool. I asked that dude for autograph. He said no. Some bullshit. But now we had a great time, man. Exhausting. I can't wait to get these pictures. I'm telling you. Just the caliber of cars that go up there, if you've never been, it's just unbelievable. We'll share one more, and then we'll bring Allison on here. Who in the hell would have ever thought you could make one of those Mustangs look that good? Now, I know I give you four guys shit, but I think we can all agree that's the ugliest Mustang they ever made. And look how gorgeous that thing is. So these guys really do some phenomenal work there on these cars. Let's see here. There's another view of it. I think it's absolutely gorgeous. You guys don't want to see me flip through that. 37 pictures of each shot. But great time. Definitely go. I got a video too. And next year, Mike's saying he's working on having a no prep category so that all the no prep cars can compete in the car show as well and get no prep trophies instead of bracket racer trophies or whatever no prep classes they had. So hopefully he can make that happen, and I think that'll be cool. There was probably, I think Milan was up there, Lapeer had a booth, and there was probably, I'd say, 30 or 40 no prep cars in the building on display. So it was nice. It was a nice time, even for us old no prep guys and gals. But anyhow, we'll get it going here. As soon as you bring your ass up here and help. When are you coming to help? Mm-hmm. We could bring every other vehicle you have up there, and we could put them on display in an appropriate fashion where all of your cars will be behind mine, looking at the taillights. Yeah, Mustang was sick. Did you go up there? You went up there and you didn't call me? All right, everybody, you see this, right? If he don't come, boy, be some shit talking on Sunday. I know Saturday he won't be here because he'll be at Killcare. I'll be at Killcare too. He's making me go to Killcare to watch him race. But Sunday, he better have his ass up here. You heard it. Oh, it's got taillights. You'll see them. They're nice bright LEDs too. So anyhow, with special guest on here, Allison Black. She's probably not used to rowdy assholes like us, so try to be a little nice for a change, guys, especially you, Tony. She's taking time out of her schedule to come on here and educate us. That ain't the only time, fucker. I promise you. Listen, I was in Detroit with real grudge racers, real street racers that talk that real shit, and they got me fired up. I'm gonna be talking a lot of shit when the Blazers done. I promise you guys. You might get a little tired of me, but man, I love a little friendly banter. I was so happy to see Eric Mann's make his post about Craig last night. You know, that's what real street racing's about. You know, that's its roots, its origin, shit talking, competitive nature, having fun. Oh yeah, definitely talking all kinds of shit to you, man. Regardless, how's my dog? I'm gonna be up to collect him soon. I don't know, man. He's getting pretty big. I don't know if I want to feed that horse. Because that's how we roll. Me and Allison are like this. We're not going to let you suckers know the truth. We're going to put the bullshit info out there so we can rope you in and get your money. Isn't that right, Allison? We don't give them suckers the real deal. Don't have any sound. We'll talk a little bit of shit while Allison gets her mic worked out. But Sherm definitely is old as fuck. I think Sherm is so old the word fuck hadn't even been invented yet. Like old as, and then they were like, Sherm, think of a word. And he said, oh yeah, fuck. Motherfucker, your computer works just fine. The problem with your computer setup is ESO, Equipment Superior to Operator, over there in the McKinney household. Yep, sometimes, yeah, you might have to just come back in, back all the way out and come back in. But I bet that was 30 years ago at least. Got the Golden Buckeye card. Sherm's so old that he's the one that modeled for the Crypt Keeper when Tales of the Crypt came out in the 80s. That's they made him prosthetic off of his old ass for that. Well, duh. What's up, brother? How you doing? Where the hell is Sherm at? I thought it was on. Well, you know, sometimes this stuff happens, so we'll let Allison reboot and come back on while we're waiting here. Let's see. I'll show you guys some more cool shit I saw this weekend. Eddie, what's up, brother? How you doing? Yeah, I had an awesome week, very productive. Even though I was sick, I still managed to get quite a bit done. And on the backside of this cold, hopefully, because I'm getting sick of it. I gotta be honest. Nope, no sound. But we could read lips. And she just said, shit. Allison, you could try from your phone if that might be easier for you. So here we'll let's do this. We'll go through and check out some of these gangster ass cars. Look at that gorgeous freaking Nova. The thing is amazing. That's what she said. You never heard that though. I mean, these guys really do like every last detail. This gorgeous 55. This is the mirror underneath the vehicle. And they show you how they do every detail. And so like when these guys are judging these, they'll literally climb underneath the vehicle. And it's not, these cars are so completely done and they're so gorgeous. They're so nice. It's not a matter of the judges looking for how nice the car is. They literally are looking for how many defects they can find, how many microscopic flaws they can find with these cars so that they can take these top 8 vehicles in the world and pick one to be the winner. I mean, it's some fierce competition. I mean, look at this. They two-tone the so you can tell on this one here, they've taken some tubes and welded into the rockers from the frame, custom chassis, but then they painted that separate and masked it off the floor pan. And I mean, just the attention to detail on these things is unbelievable. Like I said, it takes 47. This is why it takes so long to edit. It takes 47 pictures from one pose to find one that's halfway worth editing and looking at. I mean, look how clean this engine bay is.
Oh my God. Can you hear me now?
We can hear you now.
Oh my God. My computer microphone was made by Ford Motor Company.
Did you hear that, Ryan? Oh, boy.
Oh my God. Jeez,
all right.
Okay, we're good now. I had to borrow a headset, so we're good.
Perfect. So, everybody, this is Allison, Dynocom Industries. Allison, won't you introduce yourself and tell everybody a little bit about yourself, your history with the company, and what you guys do over there?
All right. I'm Allison. I am the COO of Dynocom Industries in Fort Worth, Texas. We manufacture chassis dynos, hub dynos. We also manufacture injector machines, which I'm going to talk about a little later. We've been in business since 2006. And yeah.
And so how many, so you manufacture everything right there in Texas?
Correct. Everything's manufactured. The only thing we don't manufacture is the eddy current brakes. Those come from Spain. So
made in the USA.
Made in the USA.
That's a plus. I don't think it's her fault.
I was going to ask you, first of all, let's see your guns.
Was that mine?
Yes.
Oh, they're getting there. I guess got little babies now. They are getting there, though. I mean, from when you saw me, they're a lot bigger, you know. I'm starting to, the back is really what's starting to, you know. But thank you. Yeah. So from when I saw you in December, I think I'm down another 25 pounds since then. But I've also converted more of that into muscle.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, you're looking good.
So happy. I'm so much happier.
You'll go faster.
See what I got to put up with these guys? Squirt guns. I told you guys to be nice. So we got Mikey, the student driver here in the wings, and he's driving. So I think maybe we'll let me pull this up and you can explain to everybody real quick what the student driver is. Where in the hell? See, I closed everything out like a dumbass. Sorry. All right. So what is this?
That is actually LS Fest, Holly LS Fest at Texas Motor Speedway.
Oh wait, you sent me something for this, right?
Yeah, I did.
Wait, was that this?
Yes.
All right.
So there's Mikey.
So I'll let you two. How's it going?
How are you?
Good. So
How
let you guys
Allison?
tell us about this.
I'm great. I was just explaining how all the fastest cars are in Texas.
I would agree with that 100%. Yeah, we do have a lot of fast cars in Texas. The race I'm putting on, this Texas Radio Roundup, this is the third year we're doing it. Last year we had about 185 cars total within about 8 or 10 classes. So looking to have at least that many this year. But yeah, it's going to be some good racing. Like, I think we even have some Ohio guys coming down, actually.
Oh yeah, who you got? March 30th.
Is it?
First?
I think it's maybe Mark Carr is his name. I'd have to go back and look at my messages, but he messaged me the other day. I think he's got a Mustang. I think he's going to come down and run the 235 class with us. I would have to go back and double check, but a couple guys from there. I know. I'm sure a lot of y'all know Wally from. He's kind of up in your area. I think in Illinois. He's coming down as well. So we'll kind of have people from all over.
Awesome. That'll be a good time. And so what do you got?
Got a bunch of good sponsors on board. Allison with Dynacom is one of them. So we got pretty good payouts, and y'all can follow us on the Texas Radio Roundup event page on Facebook. Everybody go check that out, and we'll post all the info on there. And if anybody has any questions, like, we can answer it. And love to have some of you guys come down and spectate or race with us.
Okay, yeah. I'm gonna pull that up real quick, and we'll post the link on here.
Thank you. I'm not driving anymore, so I can get a little more attention.
I would never endorse driving and doing live feeds, or driving and doing live feeds.
Yeah, probably. Probably
not the
smartest. I didn't have very far to go, so it's okay.
That's complete and total sarcasm and bullshit on my part because I'm the worst fucking driver in America. That's all I do
didn't
is watch.
I didn't have very far to go.
I hate to admit it, but that's all I do if I go on a road trip is watch TV and
Right.
talk on my phone and do live feeds.
I know my partner Barrett was in Lights Out last week, and I called him and I was like, once he got there, I called him and I was like, how was the drive? And he was like, oh, it was good, about 4 movies and we made it. I was like, oh, nice.
Yeah. Yeah. Nobody should do it, but you know, 4 movies when you go from like Ohio to Florida is awesome.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah,
Allison, are you gonna come hang out with us at Roundup?
Yeah, absolutely.
Heck yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
Heck yeah. You'll probably have quite a few customers there too.
Yep. Yeah, it's a great event.
Well, we definitely want to get down.
Yep.
I definitely want to get down to Texas this year. I'm already scheduled that weekend, but so is this the only time you do this?
So I think we might actually do another race in the fall. We're talking to a couple different tracks. Probably, we kind of want to try. We started this deal about 8 years ago doing no prep stuff. And we kind of want to get back into no prep a little bit. So we got 2 tracks we're talking to right now, trying to work out a date for something maybe like September, October, maybe even November, kind of weather depending and, you know, looking at everybody else's schedule, but probably do something else in the fall. So November, yeah. Man, I'm all, as long as the weather's good, I'm all for it. Like, and I mean, in Texas, it's kind of hit or miss that late in the year, but, I mean, we raced this year up until, Christmas, really, you know, so as long as the weather's good, I'm all for it.
In Ohio, we will go no prep when it's 35 degrees out, as long as it hasn't been, you know, rain or nothing for a couple of days.
Right. I know.
So
I see a bunch of videos, man. Y'all are wild up there. I like it though.
So yeah, man, we're cool. November.
Heck yeah. I want to come. Do you go to what is it? KD Dragway? Isn't that in Ohio?
Mm-hmm.
Do you go to their no prep stuff? Yeah. Well,
yep,
that's one track that's kind of on my bucket list. I want to come check that out sometime. That place looks pretty fun.
It's wild. Probably in this region, it's definitely one of the wildest tracks. Another one's Brown County, Warren Woods.
Yeah, I would like to go to. Yeah, I would like to hit that eventually too. That race looks like a good time.
If you'd like, for me. That's probably like, I don't know. You just look down a tunnel of trees, and it's
right.
Trees kind of. So it's just this tunnel that you're racing down. It's freaking awesome.
Yeah, we got some track like that here too, and it's I don't know. I honestly, is, you know, promoting races, I like going to the bigger tracks just because your possibilities are endless. You know, you got great parking, plenty of bleachers, that kind of stuff. But as far as actually going racing, I love going to kind of the smaller, you know, I don't want to say hole in the wall tracks, but the smaller tracks, they just have I don't know, it's just a different vibe, you know, a different feel.
Grit, just gritty, unpolished.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
yep.
Exactly.
Just this ambiance. So yeah, cool.
Well, thank y'all for having me on. I really appreciate it. So
yeah, no, anytime, man. Thanks for coming on.
Yep, absolutely. Thank y'all. Thanks, Allison.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
All right. So if you're at March 30th, April 1st, here, let me put that back up. If you feel like going to Texas, showing some of these boys down south how to do them radio numbers. I know there's a lot of guys in this region, Ohio, Chicago, Indiana, Michigan, that know a little something about that. Go down there and show them guys something, take their money. Looks like there'll be plenty of it. He doesn't have any payouts on here, but I'm sure it's on the event page.
Yeah, it is.
So let's so Dynacom 2006
Yep.
Making everything right here in the good old United States, except for the brakes. What's up,
Correct.
Sammy?
We actually have 3 or 4 other companies, dyno companies, that license our patent for our hub dyno, which we invented in 2009. So if you see a hub dyno, we invented it.
So Dynacom was the first hub dyno.
And we actually spent the money and patented it. And, there's some people who are like, well, everybody's an expert, right? We know this. Oh, that's not difficult. I mean, so the background basically of the eddy current hub dyno. So there was a hydraulic hub dynos. Rototest is one. I don't know if somebody's ever heard of those, but basically we also invented an eddy current brake. So what we did is it's much faster to control electronics than it is hydraulics. So that's why we came up with the idea of putting the eddy current in a hub dyno instead of a hydraulic pump or water or whatever else they were using. So, and then we've just really expanded on it. So like the tripods, those big boy hub dynos that were at PRI,
mm-hmm.
those are the biggest, dynos in the world. And those are capable of, we have 2 versions. But we actually have a new version of the tripod coming out. It's called the HD version for heavy duty. And so why we came up with it is for the tractor pulling guys and high 8th mile cars and diesel trucks. So the advantage is that it can actually hold steady state, 20,000 foot-pounds of torque, which is bonkers.
Holy shit.
And we do that because we have to manufacture all our own parts, right? A lot of other companies will just buy an off the shelf, U joint or a CV joint or ECU and put it, that is not designed to take this, amount of torque. So we actually designed, custom gears and gearboxes. It's amazing. Also, the eddy brakes that are in them are 15% larger, or they're the same physical size, but they're capable of holding 50% more torque. The only limitation of this is the max mile per hour. So on the standard tripods, we're 300 miles an hour. On these ones, it drops to 210. I mean, obviously, diesel people, they're not going 200 miles an hour.
Right.
But yeah, so we just got to watch the speed on that one. But other than that, it's pretty incredible. And we're going to be testing one of those. Have you ever seen those big tractor diesel pulling?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, big old monster. Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. Those guys, they were at PRI. There's quite a few of those vehicles there.
Oh
They're
yeah.
huge. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Those guys have a lot of money too, which is nice.
So, well, yeah, farmers,
Yeah.
and that most of them are farmers, and that's what they spend all their money on is in pulling tractors, and
yep,
it gets pretty elaborate and pretty expensive pretty quickly.
Exactly.
And what's crazy is like as far as the industry goes and publicity and whatnot, there really isn't much going on out there in that world. You don't hear much about it, but man, is a huge industry.
And there's nothing on the market that can test those vehicles right now. I mean, as far as chassis or hub dynos go, I don't really know about engine dynos. I'm not sure what they do for engine dynos, but yeah. And also for eddy brakes, we have our new 4000 series. So it's the largest single eddy current brake hub dyno in the world that is specifically made for us. So since our suppliers are in Spain, we consult with them, and basically they design around what our needs are. Again, it's not like we're just picking something off the shelf. It's all custom. So that new 4000 is pretty incredible. So we're excited about that. And then you saw the Chevelle that was on the hubs at PRI, right?
Mm-hmm.
That was the highest recordable, horsepower. Now we have recorded actually higher horsepower. We did a top fuel that was over 8,000 horsepower, but we weren't allowed to publish it or talk about it.
Right.
So this one we were, and it's a Mike Moran engine, 670 cubic inches, twin Garrett 108 turbos, and I think it did 6144 horsepower. And actually, Mike Moran said that Dynacom was the only dyno that you'd be able to test it on safely. So pretty awesome there. Yeah.
Those guys are crazy.
Yeah.
With the diesels, for sure, compound turbos and stuff.
Yep. We definitely do have a lot of diesel customers. Dynamite Diesel has our tripods, and then we have also tons of diesel customers with our chassis dynos. So we really understand the torque. That's the thing. Dynos measure torque, not horsepower.
Right.
Yeah.
And so you have the hub dyno, but you guys also do rollers.
Correct.
Right.
Yep.
And so let's see, big money Tony McKinney here is asking how much a hub dyno is. So obviously you have different models, but kind of what's the range starting to, low to high?
I'd say around 40,000 to 128,000. But so like the 40,000, that's roughly 1,800 to 2,000 horsepower. So not too bad.
Pretty standard, what most people seem to have.
Yeah, street stuff. But I mean, there's a lot of people doing 2,500. There's a lot of people doing 3,500. There's not that many people, I would say, doing over 4,000. But a lot of our customers like Neil Chance Racing Converters, PSI Superchargers, a lot of those manufacturers, obviously, they want to be able to test all the way up to 8,000 horsepower plus. So
is your software proprietary to whoever purchased the dyno?
It is. Well, in terms of, are you saying like, is it transferable to the next person, or is it? Yeah, it's our own quantum software. If that answers the question.
Tony's looking for something that's good to 4,000 horsepower.
Okay. Tony, I'm going to call you. Tony McKinney. Okay, I'll get his info.
Call me first, and then when you call him, I'll tell you what to call him.
Okay. Got it.
Fuel Tech has your dyno?
Fuel Tech, actually, we have a great relationship with Fuel Tech. Fuel Tech, we use their worked with them on the injector, on the injector machine, which I'm going to talk about next. And then, of course, we've been out there. That dyno is licensed by the other company, but it's Dynacom's technology. And no, it's not our brand, but it is our patent. So, but we do, like I said, we have a great relationship with them, and they're doing some great stuff. Their injectors, their peak and hold stuff. So, yeah. But we have a long list of, you were just in Detroit, right? So, did you see Johnny Quick there?
I did. Yep.
Yeah, he's been on our dyno up at Royal Auto in Michigan. We just shipped the set that was at PRI, went to Neighbor Racing. He's somewhere in Michigan. Steve Morris Engines, he's got our hub dyno. Everybody knows Steve Morris.
Yeah.
Yeah, so a lot of people up there. It's great. Some people are, but yeah, there's not that many Steve Morrises out there, but you'd be surprised. Like I said, there's a lot of people putting down a lot of power, so it's great.
What's the difference in accuracy between a hub and a roller dyno?
So there is no standard for hub or chassis dynos. There is a standard, an SAE, Society of Automotive Engineers standard for engine dynos. That's why every engine dyno you go to is going to read the same, because there's a standard. Hub and chassis dynos, there is no standard. So you could go to one chassis dyno, you go to one hub dyno, they could read different, even from the same manufacturer. So the accuracy, really, it depends on which. So chassis dynos, you can have little cradle rollers, like 8.5 inch, and you can go all the way up to 48 inch. So the bigger the roller, the more pulses per revolution, the more accurate, the more repeatable. So it just depends on which chassis dyno and hub dyno you're comparing. So the advantages of a hub dyno, you don't have any worries about tires blowing out or tire deformation on the roller, tire robbing power. You've seen those videos where tires blow, can take up the whole fender of the car, and some people say it's safer. You've seen videos of cars flying off dynos too, so that can't happen. It's not going to go anywhere. So that's an advantage. Now, the advantage of a chassis dyno is both of the wheels are going the same speed because they're connected with the shaft of the roll. On a hub dyno, unless you have linkage, which we have, the two aren't connected, right? So you could have one side spinning faster than the other side, something you don't have when you have a chassis dyno.
And so if one's spinning faster than the other, what does that create an issue?
Yeah.
What is that issue?
Well, you can break diffs, like an open differential vehicle, for example. We have the ability to bias the speed from right to left in the software, but the only thing with eddy current brakes is they really don't work well over. You have to be about 20 miles an hour ish for them to start actually working. So from 0 to 20, you're kind of freewheeling. So, yeah.
Yeah. Well, nothing's perfect, right?
Things perfect. If somebody could just walk by, let's say, and disconnect the cable on one of the hubs, and then you have. I actually do know that happening, not on ours, but somebody else's brand, and they blew up the differential in a Porsche, and I think that it was like $38,000 for this Porsche diff. So.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, those imports are kind of crazy. Yeah, dyno is a tool, not a standard.
Yep.
Although it's kind of weird that they wouldn't have standards, because I know I have heard stories where if everything's not adjusted properly, and some of them read the air temperature and all that stuff, and if you have those numbers off, it can throw everything else off. So if you have someone who's not a seasoned dyno tuner, you could get misinformation.
Yeah.
So it's weird. What is there any search for standardization or a standard for dynos that you're aware of?
It's sort of come up in the past a little bit, but nobody's sort of come to the table to agree. There's some people who advertise we are the standard. No, but there are actual SAE tests, and there's emissions testing. There's all sorts of other types of tests that are what's the word?
Right.
But
standard. Yeah, standards.
Yeah,
like ISO.
Exactly. And then we have DIN. We have which is for Europe. SAE tests. There's a bunch of different tests, which brings me to actually our new software platform. Somebody was asking about software. So our next platform is called Genesis, and it's a 32-bit. It runs 4 processors. It has 6 CAN bus, 2.0, and then 2 are FD. We have built-in NOx sensors, dual air fuel, Ethernet, Bluetooth, wireless handheld. We've got a VIN scanner, so you go up to the vehicle, assuming it has a VIN. You go and scan the VIN, and it'll auto-populate all of the information into the software for you. And so why is this important? Because we have a lot of customers who do street vehicles. And honestly, it's not a question of if, it's a question of when you'll get a letter from the EPA. So what we have in our software is the ability to work with PEMS, which is portable emissions monitoring systems. We're working with Dr. Patrick. I don't know, some of you might be familiar with him. He's runs ECM. He does all the OEM sensors and etc. So what we're working with, and we've also actually been working with the EPA. So we have something which is virtual road simulation. So if you go ahead and you type in 2021 Camaro SS. It'll auto-populate in the software the coefficient of drag, the frontal area, et cetera, all of this information. So what we're trying to do is it's by no means going to be like a complete pass, but it's going to get you in the direction of, knowing if your combinations for the street are able to pass. So it's sort of like a pre-inspection type of test, and nobody has this. So
nice.
Yeah.
So you're building a big database with the majority of the current cars.
Correct.
In there to see, and so you could have multiple tunes.
Yeah, it's going to be kind of like a, number one with, like a number one with a Coke, right? So this car's got a, exhaust, a pulley, and whatever, and a tune, HP tuners, and here it is. This is the package, and it's 700 horsepower, and it's emissions compliant. So, yeah.
That's
and
nice,
then one other thing in the software I wanted to mention, because you brought it up at the show, was the ability to drag race other shops over the internet. Yeah. That's all because of Josh. And you'll be able to do it live. And we've also got people on board like the Reaper from Street Outlaws and some other people, but I haven't got their permission to mention them yet. So you'll be able to like download basically his profile and be able to race him as well as other people. But
so we kind of had an elaborate conversation, and I did apologize to her in advance, but sometimes when I get ideas, I just spew shit. But she was pretty receptive. They'd already been thinking about something similar. But you could upload your shit. You could upload all your parameters. Somebody else could upload all theirs, and they could run it through a simulator. And even with the simulator, they already have it in their software where it could be two cars going down a street racing each other. Obviously, you wouldn't share times or information or any of that. Just somebody would be the winner and somebody wouldn't be. And so you could race somebody across the country without ever leaving. But it would be your car, your parameters, your specs.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about putting your car into the wall or traveling across country. You go to your local Dynacom tune shop and make some passes, and then you have your info in the system.
Exactly. You don't have to run from the police.
Well, that is kind of fun, though. What's Street Outlaw?
Never heard of them.
What is, where will we go? Oh, okay. So we got, can you get varying readings depending on how you strap a vehicle down?
Yes. Absolutely. Sometimes you put too much pressure on it, it'll completely deform the tire. If you have slicks, messing with a PSI, sometimes we like to have them real low and then pump them up, full air on the roller, so it kind of takes the shape. You definitely it can rob horsepower, no question.
You make dynos for ATVs?
Today, we were actually testing our ATV dyno for Honda. Honda came and tested it for their end-of-line testing. So, yes, we make a specific dyno for ATVs. Yeah, it was 18 horsepower. Okay, this is a youth ATV. I don't know if the other ATVs have more horsepower, or they just limit them for kids. So
I can tell you from personal experience, as an adult riding a youth ATV, they're the most dangerous in my experience.
In terms of just like flipping them over, or?
Oh, they will kill you in a heartbeat. Oh, yes. Weight to horsepower to wheelbase ratio. That math just doesn't add up when you're an adult. Mo Royal Auto's a good dude.
Great guy.
Let's see. My son had a grudge car on his dyno jet roller, blew a tire, 145, rubber all over, 9,000 square foot shop. Oh, I bet you did. And some quarter panel and some other stuff too, probably.
Yeah. I mean, drive shafts also go. I mean, I know a guy almost had his whole foot severed off because, drive shaft just we do tell people, and that's a big thing with safety. We tell people, put your helmet, put your fire suit, put, a plate between you and, drive shaft loops. I mean, whatever it is you need, safety first, for sure. We actually did have I wasn't there, but we actually had a car fire on our dyno. And yeah, it's hard. It was a Corvette, and it took, we have like 25 fire extinguishers. It used 23. It was hard to put out. So fire is no joke.
Yeah.
So safety first. We're all about safety. That's for sure.
So we got, also, you introduced me to this bad boy.
Yes. Our bad boy injector machine, the AIC8, which stands for Automated Injector Characterization. We can do up to 8 injectors, up to 12,000 cc's. And this actually follows most closely the SAE J1832. So I know we're talking about standards. So SAE J1832 is actually a standard for testing injectors. So we've followed that document as close as possible, of course, putting other things in there for the aftermarket. But it puts that characterization in a format, and it exports to a file and to a report that puts it into the format that Holley, SCT, HP tuners, those formats. And then of course there's Ford, GM, Dodge. They all have their own injector characterization formats. So that's what the software allows you to do with that machine. And it's got two you have the option of 2 fuel flow sensors, one for low impedance or low pulse width, 0 to 2 milliseconds, and then which is really, really low range, and then the high range of 2 milliseconds up to 12,000 cc's. The other great thing about it has an accumulator, which smooths out the transients with the fluctuation in fuel pressure when an injector opens to keep the pressure in the fuel head stable. We do not, there's a lot of people who will just like go put a Mega Squirt or some other off-the-shelf ECU and hook it up, but that's not what we've done. This is completely custom electronics that we've designed, been working on this for a really long time. It's an incredible machine. The problem with using like off-the-shelf stuff is that they have slow processors, and they're designed for the automotive, for the vehicle, which is not good enough. We have ours has 200 megahertz processor with precision injector pulse width control and timing. And of course, we can do saturated injectors, the high impedance, and again, the low impedance with built-in peak and hold driver. Peak current is up to 8 amps, and you have the ability to interface, again, with, you can plug into Holley or Fuel Tech or an aftermarket ECU. So you're testing with that driver. There's also those individual graduated cylinders. You can see those on there. There's also a little valve at the bottom that you can open and close, but those are for a visual check and then also for calibration verification. So why? Because, the old ones just really had graduated cylinders. You'd take a pen and paper and mark it down. The reason is a flow meter is affected by the density of the fuel and the type of fuel. We recommend in our machines to use either 100% N-heptane, or we also have our own Dynacom proprietary fluid, which closely matches the density of gasoline, and it's non-flammable, ours. It's really amazing. The one drawback, it's $900 a gallon. I don't remember how. It's super expensive, but you don't have to use that. You can use N-heptane. Let's see. Also, of course, it interfaces to a laptop and our software, where you can compare all your injectors over time. You compare thousands of injectors. You can match them. You can pick the best 8 out of 100, let's say, and put them together. This runs. You have the ability to run 2 fuel pumps. It's a Dodge TI pump, which is 500 liters per hour. Yeah. What else here? 12-bit analog to digital in real time, over 1,000 samples per second. And our flow meter does not go through an analog to digital converter. We count the interrupts from the flow meter for high accuracy and precision. The fuel lines are solid. No, they're not solid, but they're obviously open. Aluminum to reduce laminar flow before the fuel sensors. It has a built-in 7-gallon fluid tank and a fluid level sensor. 2 LED lights, 2 power supplies for high and low current, and they're IP67 power supplies, which means you can submerge them in fluid without any issue. And the introductory price on this is $12,995.
So it does everything.
But it does everything else.
So it's not, well, because I say that because I know there's some cheaper machines that look similar to that out there, but really all they do is just turn on and flow through fluid through to see if your injector's, how clean your injector is, or if it needs cleaned.
Correct. Yeah, there's a lot of Chinese ones that don't work at all.
I mean, you can. So, you know, there's a lot of other stuff you can do. So if you're a shop, this is more along the lines of something you'd want instead of that Alibaba one that's like $1,200 or whatever, that literally just turns the injectors on at whatever and runs fluid through them. How comparable is it to the ASNU machine?
ASNU, yeah. So, I mean, ASNU, they don't have a flow meter. They have software, but it's not like our software. That's actually what we're a technology company. We build all our own data acquisition for the dynos and for this, and our software, which is actually downloadable. Anyone who wants to take a look at the software for this, I can send it to them. So, again, they don't have flow meters. What else don't they have? They don't have the software. They can't do the low impedance and the high impedance. Josh, you got that video I sent you, right? A PRI?
Mm-hmm.
Can you play that?
Yeah.
Okay, great.
All right. So this is a...
Yeah. Get that loaded up real quick. It'll just take a second to load here. All right.
So this injector machine, it can flow up to 8 injectors, either low impedance or high impedance. Okay. All right. Now it has a driver and a controller, you name it. No one else in the world has that on an injector machine. The reason why there's a separate driver, if you want to run your own driver, like a Fuel Tech Poly or an external driver, you can plug right into that. Okay. So, and that's for testing different, that same driver you're running in a car. Now you guys do street vehicles, race cars, pro mod, both. So obviously you pro mod stuff, you need low impedance, right? And then, so I had an atomizer here, but the one in the product showcase, if you walk the floor, you'll see we have another unit there. That's Fuel Tech injectors in there. It will automatically measure the resistance of the injector. If it's a 1 ohm, 1.5 ohm, or 2 ohm, and select the driver for you. All right, so you can do 2 amp, 2.5 amp hold, 4 amp, 1 amp hold, 6 amp, 1.5 amp hold, or up to 8 amp and 2 amp hold. So all the peak and hold driver it can run. It has 2 fuel pumps in here. The reason we use TI fuel pumps that are actually on the 525 liter per hour ones, so it can flow up to a single injector up to 10,000 cc's. Pretty big. That's the biggest, that big atomizer, but that big. I don't think anyone's going that big yet. There are a few out there.
So what's the max on these?
The max that it can do 10,000 cc's. But remember, it's only flowing one at a time. It's very fast. So I'll turn that on. Most of these, there's 2 that aren't here because when they were setting up, the wires got pulled. And notice some of these are going down the drain. They're being flowed. It's using the internal flow meter to do that. The only reason these are closed and the intercodes at different times. It showed people that you can still do static or dynamic testing visually. So obviously these are 1 liter and 900 milliliters. That large, even if you had an atomizer or a fuel tech injector or something else, it would flow that up pretty darn fast, right? For these are 700 cc injectors, that's going to take all day. And I got a wrench here. So again, this is just for visual, but it's got the built-in flow meter. It's doing all the calculations anywhere. And Allison's going to bring her laptop tomorrow, right, Allison? So we can actually show it on the top.
Get all that off the laptop.
Yes, I think, and it saves the file, so I'll just dump that. Then you can see how quickly it drains. I don't even care. I mean, it's still flowing. This is just for a visual. You know, if you're familiar with the other type of older types of flow meters, or not flow meters, the injector method, you can do that. So, and it runs an external power supply. The reason
Well, sounds like you fucked up because you need a new one, homie.
I'm calling Tony for a hub dyno and an injector machine. And I'm going to give him the Ohio Grudge Racing discount. Anybody who's listening, you call me, you say you heard this podcast, I'm going to hook you up with a discount.
Ooh, looky there. So make sure you do that. Tony definitely needs a new dyno.
Tony does.
His discount is plus 5%. In case you haven't noticed, Tony's probably one of my best homies. So how many dealers or how many shops do you have Dynocom in the United States?
Thousands. We are the #1 dyno company in the world, hub and chassis. We actually won the President's Award for Export in 2020. That was President Trump then, but we weren't awarded it until 2021, which was Biden's administration because of COVID. But we actually won the President's Award, which is you have to demonstrate 4 years of increasing exports, and there's a whole audit and all this jazz. So yeah, we're #1. Interesting. I'm gonna talk to Tony.
Yeah.
What's Tony's shop's name?
I can't remember. It's this. Is it on here? It's on the scroller somewhere. I can't. Complete Auto and Performance.
Complete Auto.
I'll send you his number.
Okay. Were you joking about that muff diver not giving you an autograph? Or were you kidding, or are you being serious?
No, that fucker did. Daniel didn't give me an autograph. That fucker.
That's so awful.
He's actually a great guy, and we get along famously.
But he wouldn't sign.
No, he got shirts made last year before, and I told him the only way I'd buy one is if he autographed it. And being a smart ass, and he did. And then I told him the only way I was coming up to the Detroit Auto Show was if he gave me an autograph, and he said he would, but he didn't. Some bullshit. Oh, you hang out enough, we just try to have fun and talk shit. We try to educate people a little bit too. So
yeah.
So who you got with Dynocom in Ohio? You got a list?
Yeah, we do. We have a list. We have a dyno locator. We got a lot of customers there.
Because we need, Tony, just get one, because I'm really excited about this online grudge racing thing. I think that's awesome.
It's great. It's a great revenue stream for shops, and you can do it live, or you can do it, like you said, you can just select the profile. So it's all in our software. We also have that leaderboard for dyno days. So it gives you like the top horsepower and torque and mile per hour. So
it's fun. And, for states like us that unfortunately racing seasonal, it can give you something to do.
Yeah.
And the thing was with your software, if I remember correctly, you could change some of the parameters on the street or the track surfaces, right? Was like prepped or no prepped. Or am I remembering incorrectly?
Yeah, we have all different simulations like that. We have that 1/8 mile, quarter mile. We're in Texas. We have that mile test. I don't know how many people race a mile, but people do.
Oh yeah, no, I'd love to go do some salt flat stuff one day. It's on my bucket list.
Yeah,
And that'd be awesome if you're going to go be competitive, because there's not many places you can race a mile. What is it? So there's the list if you're in Ohio, which most of you guys are. Trying to see, I don't see anybody really in Central Ohio. It seems like everybody's out in the Cleveland, up in the upper half mostly. Avon Lake. I don't know where the hell Botkins, Ohio is. I've never heard of Botkins. Tim King
that?
Racing.
Oh, Tim King, yeah.
Shelby County Performance.
Was
Botkins. Where the Tony, that's in your neck of woods. Where in the hell's Botkins at? Look, man. You're lucky there's a lady on the live feed tonight, but I'll deal with you later.
Do you want to throw up any of those pictures I sent you?
Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah.
For some of these heathens, even though they probably don't,
Get ready, Tony. Here come the photos.
These were at PRI. Some of the equipment, showing off some of the equipment in the PRI booth. And who's this dyno operator?
She's a master tuner. No, she's actually she's the wife of our distributor in Mexico City. So our distributor in Mexico, literally Mexico, not just like Mexico.
Let's see what else do we have? So here's the pod, and then
our new fan.
Then your new fan.
Mm-hmm.
And then this is the. So which ones are these? The DC pod. Yeah,
those are the 1,800 to 2,000 horsepower, the $40,000 ones, $40,000 ones.
And so that's probably your biggest seller there.
Actually, the one above it, the 3,500s, are the most popular. Yeah. Yes.
It would be nice. This car was gorgeous.
Amazing.
I mean, outside of the performance and everything, I mean, it was built very well. The paint job and everything was nice. It was very sleek.
Yeah. And you see in the background that Nova that's on the hubs, that is TKM Performance he's Kevin Mullins. Big tuner. He does a lot of really fast cars.
Oh yeah. And so which one is this stainless version back here?
That is the tripods. Those are the ones that are Neighbor Racing, the 5500 series.
So you got the other's half there. And then this is the injector machine we just looked at. But so I think that was it.
Okay. I did put some videos up. Do you want me to, can I share a video?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Let me see if I can figure out how to do this. Since we talked about Royal Auto. And you present that, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
That's in here.
Awesome.
So that is one of the things. My very first time at a hub dyno was with Big Boost Bill Lutz on his blown Hemi, and to watch, there's a huge difference on how the vehicle reacts on rollers versus a hub, which I didn't know that at the time. But to watch it even being strapped down, he broke a strap to do with the thing, trying to do a serious power wheelie about 80% of the way through the pool. That's just amazing. Normally you'll see something like his on rollers and it's skipping the tire, or it just at that higher horsepower range, it doesn't seem like it would work properly. But the hub dyno didn't give a fuck. And watching the whole car lift and then watching that thing try to power wheelie about 9,000 RPM was pretty impressive.
Yep.
Kind of like what we saw.
Yep, those are the 3500s. I'm going to add one more video here. Let's see. I got one more I want to share. Okay, yeah, this one. Last video, I promise.
Oh, oh yeah, especially if you just add it in flames. We're in all night.
Yep, candles are lit. Yeah, pretty impressive. That's crazy. I was making a joke about your Blazer earlier, but you couldn't hear me because I had no sound. I was asking if it had a 302 SBF in it.
Well, I have the functional Ford engine, the LS, the one that actually makes horsepower and doesn't break down all the time. Is it
the SS? Like, is it all-wheel drive or is it the two-wheel drive?
Two-wheel drive. It's the old 86 square body. I'd love to have all-wheel drive turbo car though one day.
There's a lot of people who don't want all-wheel drive in their racing classes, so.
Yes, we did. Yeah, I don't know if I want to drag race an all-wheel drive car. They're cool as hell, but there was a guy a couple years ago that did was a Cutlass or a Buick Regal. He did a G body and he converted it over to all-wheel drive. That's pretty awesome. So I'd like to do something like that one day.
Yeah. Awesome.
But yeah, so you guys got any questions? Any specific questions for Allison? Anything you want to know about dynos? You guys scared to ask questions tonight or what? What the hell?
We're on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Dynocom. Find us everywhere. I mentioned we're doing that LS Fest at Holly at Texas Motor Speedway. That's in May. We also do Dark in the Park with Limpy at WRP. Those guys actually have our big hub dyno too in Wichita Falls, Texas. Have you ever been to that race?
I have not.
I went up there. I mean, they didn't end. I think Chris told me they finished at like 7 a.m. and they didn't even get through all the cars. Like it's nuts. It's great. He's banging the flashlight and it's awesome.
Limpy's all right. I'm surprised he's not on here.
Yeah, I could have called him in here.
He usually pops in. Let's see.
Yeah,
I'm trying to pull up here.
He looks intimidating, but he's not. At least not to me.
He can be intimidating. I never thought of him that way until we're in the woods. Don't ever piss Limpy off.
Yeah, I can see that.
He's the happiest, go luckiest guy there is, but don't ever piss that guy off. So here's their Facebook, and I imagine from Facebook you can get to all the others, TikTok, Instagram, etc. But here's the link to their Facebook page, so make sure you go follow them and see what they're up to, where they'll be next. What's up, Tim? How you doing, buddy? He's a big teddy bear till you piss him off.
So what happened? How did he get pissed off? Somebody just was questioning him, or what was the deal?
No, we're in the woods, drunk asshole.
Oh.
Wouldn't shut up.
Yeah.
And I've never seen that dude get mad before.
Did he punch him? Like, did he just yell at him?
No, he told him to shut up, and he pushed him, and then that was probably all he had to do. It escalated slightly from there.
Yeah.
That guy definitely got what he deserved. Well, he didn't get nearly what he deserved, but he definitely deserved what he got. Can engines blow up easier on a dyno versus driving hard on a street or track?
That's a good question. Yes, definitely. First, you have airflow, right? You're in a room, you might have some fans, but you don't actually have the cooling capability of, air coming in. So definitely don't skimp out on the fans and the cooling on the dyno. Also, so for the new F-150 Lightning, the electric truck, we were contacted by them, Texas Truck Channel, to test it because it had never been tested outside of Ford. So they brought us the truck, and we actually did sell a dyno to Tesla back in 2010. So we've been involved with electric vehicles for a long time. But anyways, this F-150, it has to run an all-wheel drive. And the other thing is, because of the AC motors that they run, all four, the front and the rear have to be going exactly the same speed. And the only way to really do that is on a linked dyno. That's why we used our gearbox system, and we were able to actually accurately test it. But if you Google like a Tesla on a non-linked dyno, the thing starts bucking and it goes into limp mode, and even just regular two-wheel drives with traction control, if the front wheels aren't spinning, I think like the CTSV, some of those, if they're not spinning, it the whole dash goes up in a Christmas tree. And so, yeah, definitely there are some things, you basically want to mimic the road, but yeah, engines blowing up on the dyno, because, so there's some people who are like, that test was only 4 seconds. Well, okay, you've got 3,500 horsepower. How fast are they going, right? They're going to probably be around 3.5 to 4 seconds, right? If you run a 3,500 horsepower vehicle and it's a 20-second run, you're going to melt pistons, right? It's going to blow up everything. So yeah, we really work with everybody, manufacturers, and, making sure that we protect engines and that we're not blowing them up. That's not, the goal. And then again, like I said, drive shafts, another big thing to blow up, especially trucks. Trucks have I don't know if it's a mile per hour or what it is, but those drive shafts seem to go. Chevy, Ford, doesn't matter, Dodge. So yeah, it's definitely easier to blow it up on the dyno, especially if you don't necessarily know what you're doing. Or, there's another company who will not be named. They have one test, which is a ramp test. So that comes from the engine dyno world. The problem is that cars don't accelerate at a fixed rate of acceleration. So it's not like X miles per second. So what you have happen is you have a lot of extra wear and tear on the vehicle, and it can really hurt. Transmissions is the first thing to go, then the engine. So you don't understand, because race cars is on the starting line. When it leaves at a very high rate of acceleration, but by the time you're at the end of the track, you're slowing down. So it's not constant. Does that make sense?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I'm with you.
Okay.
How are your dynos serviced? Do you have technicians throughout the country?
We actually do. We have techs that can go out, but really in the software, there's a mileage calculator, and it'll, just like your car, it'll pop up and tell you when to service, gearboxes, oil, and, when to service the oil, when to check bolts, tensioners, things like that. So it's all built into the software. But we do offer on-site, if you want a tech to come out there, you can have that. You can pay for a technician to come to your facility. We also include free training with the purchase of a new dyno at our facility in Texas. So for life. Yeah, we definitely want you to be educated.
Oh, I'm sure you wouldn't be the lowest horsepower on a dyno. Yeah, she dynoed something today. As a matter of fact, that was 18 horsepower.
Actually,
So
we had a customer dyno hoverboard, and it was like 0.1 horsepower, I think. So people dyno on bicycles, hoverboards, what else? All sorts of stupid stuff. Forklifts.
How the hell did you dyno a hoverboard?
I actually have a picture of it. I'll upload it and send it to you.
Yeah, I definitely will see that. I'm interested in that.
Yeah.
And then to back up to the lightning.
Yes.
Are you allowed to talk about numbers?
Yeah, I think I posted it. It was like 700-ish 710 foot-pounds of torque, I think it was. But it was.
Was that on Facebook?
Yeah, it is. And I have a lot of video here. I think I might be able to upload the video. Let me see. I'm pretty sure it's on here. Maybe not. But I can always share it to you afterwards. So now there's a funny story with it. They were supposed to bring us 2 lightnings. The one guy came with his lightning. It was not a problem. But the lady who was also supposed to show up, she didn't have like a plug in her house to charge her vehicle, like electric vehicle, because she doesn't have an electric vehicle. So she went to Kohl's and she went to go charge the vehicle. It killed the vehicle. Like those charging stations, you can't. I guess this is part of the problem. I know they're having some issues with the batteries. But yeah, basically, like you can't go to those random charging stations. They're different, I think. I guess they're fast charging. I don't really know. I don't know an electric vehicle, so.
Yeah, no. Some of the batteries don't like to be fast charged, where you'll do an 80%, which is where they say to keep the battery, and you don't want to charge it at 100. But yeah, they charge it in like an hour. They don't like that.
Shit to get towed.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Let's see here. We got it's a critical speed issue with the drive shaft in trucks not being big enough in diameter.
Yeah. I mean, so with our dynos, you have the ability to launch off the trans brake. So a lot of people are worried about, breaking the dyno. No, you're not going to break the dyno. You'll probably break your drive shaft first. So you're not going to hurt the dyno. You can leave off the trans brake.
Yeah, no, like I said, after seeing 3,000 horsepower firsthand on one of those hub dynos, yeah, I don't think you're gonna hurt that. I think your vehicle definitely is the weaker link.
Yeah.
There. Hey, David, thanks for tuning in. So you guys really don't have any questions?
It's okay. They're all buying dynos and injector machines.
Yeah.
Tony just bought 2. Yeah. Right.
So how long is it?
So you got to jack up the car, take the wheels off, move the hubs into place. We do have ability to adjust for camber. And that's one thing people do say, the setup time from a hub dyno to a chassis dyno, but you still got to roll back on the dyno. You got to strap it down. You got to do one pull, retighten everything. So honestly, when it's all said and done, it's probably about the same amount of time on a hub dyno versus a chassis dyno. One thing with hub dynos we do recommend is at least one jack, or if it's independent rear suspension, 2 or 3, to take the weight of the vehicle off of the bearings of the dyno and for safety. So, but yeah, I would say it's almost the same.
Yeah, I can tell you when we were at Modern when Bill did his on the hub dyno. It was probably, they probably had a half an hour, and half hour, 45 minutes, and they were ready to make pulls. It really wasn't that big a deal.
Yeah.
Well, now you know where to get one, Tommy.
Tommy, I'm calling you too. Tommy Cook.
Drag calculator is accurate for figuring horsepower using weight, mile an hour, quarter. If so, why would someone want to run their car on a dyno?
Okay. So basically for tuning, for steady state tuning. So you want to map each cell. You got to hold the vehicle specific mile per hour RPM. You want to start at 100 miles an hour, and you're going to go to 105, 110, 120. Basically dialing everything in. You can street tune too, right? But obviously you can't go 200 miles on the street. So it's simulating the road, everything you can do with your laptop. I know people who've actually rear-ended other people on their laptop while street tuning. So basically taking that all off, being in your shop and being able to do a lot of other, diagnostic stuff. So there's so many things you do. Like I said, with our new hardware, we've got the knock sensors, and there's just so much you can do. OBD2, there's a whole diagnostic, aspect of the dyno. So it's not just like for the horsepower number, right? Yes, any dyno can probably give you a dyno number or a horsepower number and torque. But then, air fuel, and then usually what people do is they'll do the baseline, and they'll start with pump gas, and then they'll go to changing fuel types and, making modifications to the tune and seeing the gains on the dyno. So it's really a tuning tool.
Yeah, and I know there's a few guys. I know there's starting to be more who figuring out how to set up resistance in the dyno so it can help you tune your chassis. So instead of renting a track, when you're at that level, spending $5,000 on a private track rental for the 24 hours or whatever for one day. And then you got to haul all your shit to the track and make all the passes. These guys now are renting a dyno for a day at, going to a shop, and then these guys can load the cells down a little bit and help them tune their chassis on a brand new car. I know that McCamus, that's what he does. He sends all his to a guy. That was how I first learned about it a handful of years ago. McCamus sends all his fresh builds to a guy, and that's what they do is they get all the initial tuning done on the dyno, engine, fuel, all that shit, and then they will go to the suspension. And he said it's like a miracle worker.
And then you get to the track and it rains.
Well, yeah, that too. You have to calibrate it every so often.
No, with our electronics, it automatically calibrates every time, like a tear on a scale, every time you turn it off and on. So no.
Wondered about hub dyno without a straight axle. So you're talking about like independent rear suspension? Probably. And yeah, you can do that.
Yep. Absolutely. Can you calculate the weight required? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, with virtual road simulation, like I said, it it'll put, and people will say, well, that's, that's information from a stock Camaro or Mustang. Well, no. I mean, the dyno looks at the rate of acceleration. It understands, okay, this is obviously not stock. So, but what it's giving you is that frontal area, and it's giving you all of the information to populate in the software. So, weight with driver, all that. Absolutely.
So, something I just thought about. So let's say I take a vehicle out and we make a couple of street passes. Now, can I bring my data back in, load it into the software, and run some simulations with your software based off of that information, and perhaps fine tune my tune
Yeah.
in the simulator versus on the street?
Yes. Actually, Kevin Mullins at TKM has overlay of, I think it's Holly, the data log, and then the dyno graph. So, it's exactly that. And then we also interface to Holly and Fuel Tech. So you can data log, you can see air fuel, you can see IATs, you can see, up to 50 channels supported from the ECU. So you don't have to be hooking up sensors and stuff right from. And we work directly with Holly and Fuel Tech and Mega Squirt. And then there's some other ECUs that people are like, but yeah, we picked the main ones.
The main reputables.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's pretty valuable tuning tool also for street racers. No
Absolutely.
prep guys.
Yep.
So Tony, better get your order in.
That's right. And Tommy.
I'm thinking some shit. What the hell do you want? So
okay.
Well, cool. Anything else you can think of, Allison? I think probably about wrap it up here.
Yeah, thank you so much. I really appreciate it, the time and everything. So, and you're looking fantastic.
Thank you. I appreciate it. No, I appreciate you coming on.
Thank you.
I can't wait to. I'm going to make it down to Texas this year, so maybe I'll come and get a plant tour or something.
Absolutely.
While I'm down there, and at the very least, we'll see you guys at PRI again.
For sure. If you come to Texas and you don't call me, you're in trouble.
No, I'm definitely calling.
Great.
I don't think any amount of weight loss is going to change that one.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much. We really appreciate it.
No, we appreciate you, and thanks for all the information. I learned some stuff. Hopefully everybody else did too. And again, if you guys, if you're a shop or you're considering a dyno, check out Dynacom. Call Allison, get the OGR discount.
That's right.
And support an American business that makes products here in America, not just a bunch of import shit assembled in America. Yes, the Eddie brakes, but outside of that, so that's awesome.
America first.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So good night, Allison.
Okay.
All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next Monday. Allison, thanks again. We'll talk to you guys soon.
Bye.
Bye.